Hey, welcome to 1500 ESPN.com. I'm Derek Wetmore, and this is Andrew Kramer. We're out at TCF Bank Stadium, where the Vikings just lost to the Green Bay Packers 24-21. But, they made a game out of it. Vikings now fall to 4-7 on the season. They're winless in the division, but, given everything that's kind of gone wrong, I think it gives you a different perspective on how this game went, Andrew. Especially after the 42-10 loss in Green Bay on that Thursday night in Week 5. Pretty close and tightly contested game. The Vikings actually had a chance to win this thing until the very end.
It really was. If Teddy Bridgewater just could have hit on one of those few big throws that he missed on at the beginning of the game, you wonder, is it Green Bay trying to play catch-up at the end and not the Vikings? But Teddy Bridgewater was just a bit too inaccurate for them today. He obviously missed on some first-half throws. Even a second-half throw to Charles Johnson on that in-and-out play where Charles had to come back to the ball, ended up dropping it.
Mm-hmm. Ball was open, too.
Ball should have been caught. It was on 3rd and 9. That would have been a huge play for him, but Teddy even could have led the ball a little bit farther, and it could have been a touchdown.
Sure.
And they could have taken the lead right then and there in the third quarter. So, close game. We certainly weren't expecting that, but really it was the defense that came through today.
Yeah, we'll talk about Bridgewater on this video. We'll talk about the defense, and then finally wrap it up with Eddie Lacy, who kind of was the difference today. We'll touch on all this stuff on the Purple Podcast in a little bit here, too, so do check that out if you enjoy any of the Vikings coverage. Andrew, Teddy Bridgewater, rookie quarterback. I always try to frame it that, hey, the guy probably shouldn't even be starting right now. In an ideal world, he's sitting on the bench and Matt Castle's the quarterback. But still, even given that, not a great day for Bridgewater today.
No, it really wasn't. And again, this is one of those things where they're trying to figure out how can they get him going in the first 3 quarters. Right. Once again, the last drive of the game, he goes 8 for 10 for 69 yards. Yeah. He overcomes Matt Khalil's 3rd penalty of the game, hits Kyle Rudolph for a 16-yarder, which Green Bay eventually challenged, ended up losing that, and they were able to still come back and throw that 5-yarder to Greg Jennings to really pull the game within 1 score and force Eddie Lacy to run the clock out at the end. But before the first 3 quarters, Bridgewater, I believe, was 14 of 27 for 144 yards. Threw just an erroneous pick, that one where Greg Jennings was doing a corner route. He just lobs it up there. 1, the throw was too late. 2, the ball was just hanging up there like a duck. And Micah Hyde, the Packers cornerback that picked it off, said he felt like it was in the air for 5 seconds because he was just waiting for it to come back down. Greg Jennings said afterwards he could have made a play on that ball to knock it down there. But point is that Bridgewater, we're seeing those rookie moments, as you said, Derek.
Right.
They wanted to sit him this year, and we're finding out why. It's just because he's a rookie. He's going to make those mistakes. There's only so many Andrew Lucks out there in the world, and clearly he's not one of them. Mm-hmm. So the point is, though, the Vikings players are still very much behind him. Through 7 starts, he's able to get a few wins for him. It's just when you're facing an overmatched team, when you're overmatched against a team like Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, he's not going to be able to do enough to get it done for you.
Yeah, well, and the same should be said for Mike Zimmer. He's supported Bridgewater through this, too. He did say at his press conference today that he'd like to see Bridgewater make more of those plays in the first half. But he added that he thinks Bridgewater's going to be a good quarterback. He's going to continue to progress, to mature. And the interesting point that I thought, Andrew, we'll talk about this on the podcast a little bit more, he's going to continue to get bigger and stronger, Zimmer said, which I think could be a big difference for Bridgewater.
And honestly, that's the biggest thing right now with this young rookie class that they've really relied on with Jerick McKinnon as well. Even guys like Scott Crichton and David Yankee who don't see much time. Behind the scenes, what coaches are preaching is these guys just need to physically grow up. They just need to get bigger and stronger. A lot of those guys didn't have a lot of time in the offseason to do that with not only the draft being pushed forward, but with the Pac-12 guys. So all that stuff combined, they've had to rely on their young guys that really didn't have a full offseason to get ready for the NFL. So in the Vikings coach's eyes, this is a team building for the future, and you're going to take these lumps like you did today.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned, different game from the 42-10 defeat. Probably the biggest example, Andrew, the home run plays. They took those away from the Packers. You remember the crossing route to Jordy Nelson on the big strike in the first half in Lambeau Field. Yeah. You didn't see those today. No. What did you take away from the Vikings' ability to limit the Packers on those plays?
I saw cornerbacks Josh Robinson and Xavier Rhodes both playing much better, especially Josh Robinson, than he did last week. Those are guys that were just able to stick to Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, be physical with him. Obviously, Rodgers had a couple plays that you're just not going to be able to defend. That one middle seam route to Randall Cobb for 29 yards in the first half, that ball was right over Captain Munnerlin's shoulder where Captain didn't even get turned around. It's just what he's supposed to do. There was only a small window there to fit that ball. Rodgers is one of the few guys to do it. So other than that, though, they did take away the home run plays. Jordy Nelson came in here averaging 16.6 yards per catch. He was limited. Xavier Rhodes was able to get 2 pass deflections on him. One where Mike McCarthy and the Packers sideline were just lobbying for a pass interference call. And Xavier Rhodes said after the game, I get that every week, man. I'm used to it.
Right.
So he's a guy where he's walking that line a lot better between foul and physical play. And so he's able to do that today. And that was really a huge factor in taking away those big plays.
Lobbying might be kind for what Mike McCarthy was doing, asking for a DPI.
Exactly. I'm sure there were a few choice words coming out there. But another factor was Mike Zimmer now wanting to play a little bit more two safeties back on first downs. Packers coach Mike McCarthy said that after the game. He said, we noticed a lot of too deep on first downs. They weren't letting us take those shots, so we weren't going to take them. So really what it was is the Packers setting up 2nd and 5, 3rd and 2, and able to convert. And overall, toward the end of the game, Eddie Lacy was able to run that out.
One thing Mike Zimmer said in his post-game press conference that I think we can parse between the lines a little bit here, Andrew. He said, against a team with that many offensive weapons as the Green Bay Packers have, you have to pick your poison. Yeah. And what I think he meant by that, we saw in the first half, they were playing a ton of nickel package coverage because they didn't want Rodgers to beat them as Jay Cutler beat them a week ago. Now, the trade-off for that, obviously, you've only got 2 linebackers on the field, and it's tougher to stop the run, especially if you're not running a safety up to the line. What did you see in that game plan?
I saw exactly what you were saying in that they came out in nickel, and a big part was actually the Packers came out in a 3-wide set with a fullback and running back. So they went without a tight end. They were without one of their tight ends today in Brandon Bostic. So they decided to come out basically in a fullback, running back, 3-wide set to try and split out the Vikings defense and then run at it. And that's kind of what they did at the beginning. But Linval Joseph had a much better game than he had in the October 2nd meeting where he got pushed out of position constantly and Eddie Lacy ran all over him. They were able to contain him more today, but again, at the end of the game, he was just too much.
Well, and it's pretty incredible. A guy rushes for a touchdown 115 yards, and we're saying the Vikings did better.
They did. Obviously they did, because last time he averaged 8.1 yards per carry, had 2 touchdowns, and really anything below that was going to be better. Yeah. He was still very effective today.
The Vikings have some positives, of course, to take out of this, and that's kind of what the rest of the season is going to be about. Yeah. I mean, at where the Vikings are sitting now, and especially considering their division standing, playoffs are looking like a longer shot than ever. But the rest of the season, I suppose, Andrew, is about the development. Guys like Teddy Bridgewater, Anthony Barr, Harrison Smith continuing to assert himself as a star player, Everson Griffin, and just a bunch of kind of little things that the Vikings can look at developing into next year.
Most definitely. And this is a team building for the future. Again, they knew that going into this year, but without Adrian Peterson and Matt Castle, that accentuates that even more.
Absolutely. Check out the Purple Podcast for more Vikings coverage, as well as 1500ESPN.com, the Vikings page, for all of your updates from Andrew Kramer and me, Derek Wetmore. From TCF Bank Stadium, where the Vikings lost today to the Packers, I'm Derek Wetmore. This is Andrew Kramer. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll catch you next time.